Sophie Sierra shares the real reason she left Rob Warne and how she's thriving with a new life and business in the U.S. Sophie Sierra, known for her appearance on 90 Day, The Last Resort, has finally opened up about her split from Rob Warne and the personal growth that followed. Her journey, which began when she left the UK to marry Rob in the United States, has taken a dramatic turn. Now, Sophie is using her voice on social media to speak candidly about what led to the end of her relationship and how she's managed to thrive independently. With a new business, a growing following, and a renewed sense of confidence, Sophie is stepping into her next chapter with purpose and clarity. From Spain to Los Angeles, Sophie's unconventional journey. Sophie's path to reality TV fame started long before she joined the 90-Day Fiancé universe. Born in Spain and later living in the United Kingdom, Sophie didn't have an easy time growing up. Although she came from a well-off family, she faced challenges in her youth that shaped her independent spirit. From an early age, Sophie learned how to take care of herself and became financially self-sufficient as a teenager. This early sense of responsibility laid the foundation for the strength she would need later in life. Her life took a turn when she connected with Rob Warne online. The pair developed a fast-paced romance that ultimately led Sophie to move across the world to be with him. She relocated to Los Angeles on a K-1 visa, prepared to begin her life as Rob's wife. However, what seemed like a promising love story quickly unraveled once reality set in. Why Sophie left Rob. A silent message with a loud impact. Now that their relationship has ended, Sophie is slowly revealing more about what really went wrong. Without naming Rob directly, Sophie recently shared a message on her Instagram stories that spoke volumes about her decision to walk away. Reposting a quote from the Positivity platform, the statement read, "Growth has turned me into a leaver. I will leave any situation that I don't like without explanation." Though she didn't add her own commentary, the post clearly resonated with her followers. The quote continued with a reflection about having remained in unfulfilling situations in the past, even when something didn't feel right. It was a subtle but powerful admission from Sophie, suggesting that she had finally reached a point where staying in a situation that wasn't aligned with her values or growth no longer felt acceptable. This message confirmed what fans had suspected. Sophie left because she had outgrown the relationship. She had started recognizing her own worth and no longer felt the need to justify her decision to leave. The post may have been short, but it reflected a deeply personal transformation that had been brewing for some time. Sophie's relationship with Rob. Expectations versus reality. While Sophie hasn't shared every detail about her relationship with Rob, she has dropped enough clues to show that the reality didn't match the expectations she had when she first moved to the U.S. Sophie had spent time with Rob in Los Angeles before committing to the K-1 visa process, so she wasn't entirely unfamiliar with his living situation. Still, she had hoped things would improve by the time she returned as his fiancé. Unfortunately, Sophie found that not much had changed. She had imagined they would build a home together, but soon discovered they had very different standards when it came to their lifestyle and communication. Sophie's desire for stability and partnership was met with disappointment when she learned that Rob had not been fully transparent with her, especially in terms of who he had been interacting with online. Rather than confront everything head-on, Sophie chose a different path, one rooted in self-reflection and long-term clarity. She understood that the version of Rob she had fallen in love with no longer matched who he was in real life, and instead of holding on to the past, she began planning a future without him. Sophie's growth journey. Why she chose herself. Fans watching The Last Resort saw Sophie give her relationship with Rob another try, only to be met with regret. That brief reconciliation served as a final confirmation that walking away had been the right decision. Sophie had changed, and she now realized that real growth sometimes means choosing yourself over the idea of a relationship. Sophie has acknowledged through her actions and subtle social media messages that she is no longer willing to stay in circumstances that limit her growth or happiness. Her approach is empowering and relatable, especially to viewers who have been in similar situations. In many ways, Sophie's story resonates beyond reality TV. It's a story about learning to trust your instincts, even when it's hard. Despite being separated from Rob, Sophie chose to remain in the US and continue building the life she had envisioned. Rather than retreat, she moved forward, focusing on her goals, personal wellness, and newfound independence. What's next for Sophie in the US? Following her split from Rob, Sophie has been focusing on herself and her business endeavors. She recently launched a line of waist trainers, which received positive feedback from her followers. Now, she's expanding her product offerings to include stylish and functional workout clothing. This marks a significant shift for Sophie. Not only is she reclaiming her autonomy, but she's also investing in a business that reflects her passions and lifestyle. With her social media platforms gaining traction, Sophie is using her influence to promote her brand and inspire other women to prioritize their personal well-being. Her new business aligns perfectly with her message of self-empowerment and growth. Rather than relying on anyone else for success, Sophie is showing that she is fully capable of building something of her own. In addition to her entrepreneurial ventures, Sophie has been the subject of recent romance rumors. Speculation about a potential connection with fellow 90-Day Fiancé alum Pedro Jimeno has surfaced, prompting fans to wonder if Sophie is ready to re-enter the dating scene with a fresh perspective. While she hasn't confirmed anything, her confidence and self-assurance suggest she's open to new beginnings, both personally and professionally. Rob's next chapter, and Sophie's future in the franchise. As Sophie moves forward, Rob Warne has also continued his reality TV journey. He was recently announced as a cast member on a Mexico-based spin-off, suggesting that both he and Sophie are charting very different paths post-breakup. While Rob's direction appears focused on expanding his presence in the franchise, Sophie's goals seem more inward, rooted in self-development and entrepreneurial ambition. It remains to be seen whether Sophie will return to the 90-Day franchise in any official capacity. However, her growing popularity and evolving brand make her a strong candidate for future appearances. Whether or not she rejoins the cast, Sophie is clearly embracing her independence and taking control of her narrative. Sophie's message to fans: be true to yourself. What makes Sophie's story so powerful is that she hasn't needed to share every detail to make an impact. Her approach, subtle, intentional, and deeply personal, has resonated with fans who admire her quiet strength. In a world where oversharing is common, Sophie's decision to let her actions speak louder than words is a refreshing reminder that growth often happens away from the spotlight. By choosing to leave a situation that didn't serve her, and by staying committed to her values, Sophie has demonstrated the kind of self-awareness that takes years to develop. Her story is no longer just about a relationship that didn't work out. It's about the journey of discovering who she is and what she deserves. As she continues to evolve, Sophie's followers are watching with admiration, eager to see what she does next. Whether it's launching a new product, exploring a new relationship, or simply sharing pieces of her life on social media, one thing is clear. Sophie Sierra is no longer defined by her past. She's creating a future entirely on her own terms.